The 2026 Asian Athletics Championships brought thousands of fans into the stadium for one specific reason: to see who controls the future of regional track and field. For decades, that question had a very predictable answer. The sport operated under a strict hierarchy, heavily commanded by a few established East Asian nations. In 2026, however, Indian athletes began appearing in finals and on podiums at a rate that signaled a clear shift in the competition. To understand how it happened, watch Pooja Singh. As she accelerates down the curve of her high jump approach, she becomes the physical embodiment of this sudden disruption. At the precise moment she clears the bar, she secures the gold medal and cements a historic victory for her country. Singh's performance serves as the clearest evidence of a long-term, systemic overhaul in Indian sports. This diagram illustrates Singh's technique, the Fosbury flop. Her approach angle translates raw momentum into maximum vertical lift. Zooming in on the apex, her body arches over the bar, but her center of mass passes underneath. Minimizing the clearance margin converts efficiency into gold. Singh's technical execution is flawless. Yet, looking across the broader Indian team, her perfection is not an anomaly. It is the new standard. This bar chart compares India's 2026 gold medal count against the previous 3 cycles. Look at the sheer mathematical scale of that rightmost column. Success was found across the entire spectrum. Medals arrived in clusters across sprints, throws, and jumps alike. This statistical depth suggests that India has moved beyond relying on rare, individual talent, establishing a broader base of elite performance. The engine driving this turnaround began running 5 years ago. The government initiated a massive financial reinvestment into localized high-performance training centers across the country. Inside those centers, the federations aggressively integrated international coaching methodologies, specifically adapting global best practices for the local athlete populations. The most vital component is visible on this radar chart. It shows a predictive talent scouting system tracking explosive power, VO2 max, and biomechanical efficiency. Years before her senior debut, evaluators used these exact metrics to discover and refine Pooja Singh's profile. Historically, success in Indian track and field was a solo effort, with athletes often working in isolation and relying on personal grit to bridge gaps in infrastructure. The incredible results in 2026 happened because they replaced hope with pure engineering. They built a machine that manufactures champions. The immediate consequence of this hardware is entirely psychological. The old mental block that held Indian athletes back on the international stage has been completely dismantled. This forces traditional powerhouse nations to rewrite their own strategic planning. Any calculation for future global tournaments now has to account for a deeply competitive Indian roster. These regional championships are not the finish line. The Indian Federation is treating this as the calculated launchpad for the upcoming Olympic cycle. On the podium, these athletes are the first to demonstrate what happens when a national program provides world-class support for years. The rest of the sporting world has been given fair warning. India is no longer showing up just to participate. They have arrived to dictate the pace.